Hello, and welcome to another teaching from TorahFamily.org. We are a family-based ministry that believes the whole Bible stands forever, that all of it is based in the Torah, and all of it promotes the Torah. Please visit us at TorahFamily.org for more teachings like this one. We hope this teaching helps you learn and grow in the faith. Men of Yahweh, difficult topics. There are many topics and stories in the scriptures that really aren't suited for children. At least not the exact details. But that doesn't mean we should just breeze over these true stories. They are given to us to teach us. I personally believe we need to do our best to teach our children what we can at their level. Here's the thing. As I've said before, I don't make my children carry luggage that's too heavy for them. But that doesn't mean they get a free ride either. I see to it that they do their part in carrying what they can. The same principle applies in learning the scriptures. While there will be elements we need to use wisdom in how we share the story, we need to do our best to teach them what they are able to handle. Is it easy? Not always, but it can be done. The problem that many men have is what happens when they don't have the answers to their children's questions. Let's face it, children can ask some pretty good questions. Yet, it's okay if you don't have the answer. It just shows them that you're still growing as well. I was recently asked how we use studies of prophecy and end times to minister to the family unit as a whole. This has been big for our family. The New Testament is filled with writings concerning the return of Yeshua. I personally don't see how we can go without including such studies with our families. When we can have a hope to look to Yeshua's return, it truly helps us keep our focus off of the world. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 13. But in keeping with his promise, we are looking forward to a new heaven and a new earth, the home of the righteous. My family is truly looking forward to that day. Discussing that day can be a lot of fun in our household. But that is not the only reason why we should teach our family about the return of Yeshua. It truly gives us a reason to be reminded of how we should keep ourselves pure and separate from the world. 1 John chapter 3. Dear friends, now we are children of God, and what we will be has not yet been made known. But we know that when he appears, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Everyone who has this hope in him purifies himself, just as he is pure. It was just the other day that a friend of mine shared a video with me. The individual in the video supposedly had a vision about what was coming whenever the time of the tribulation begins. It was not a pretty vision. In fact, after watching the video, Luke 21:36 was all I could pray for an hour. What does Luke 21:36 say? Be always on the watch, and pray that you may be able to escape all that is about to happen, and that you may be able to stand before the Son of Man. That being said, Yeshua told us to not be deceived when those times come. As a father, I believe it is my obligation to do my best to not let my family be deceived if those times should come in our day. I pray every father looks at it that way as well. We can't forget that we are told we would be blessed if we read Revelation. Revelation 1, verse 3. Blessed is the one who reads the words of this prophecy, and blessed are those who hear it and take to heart what is written in it, because the time is near. It doesn't say we would completely understand it if we read it. It doesn't say we would be able to teach it all if we read it. It says we would be blessed if we read it. I believe that blessing will come when those days begin being played out. That will be when the Spirit will bring what we read to mind and then say, this is that. That will be when we are truly blessed. In all of this, I'm not saying that we should try to make a regular diet of hard topics for our children. Not at all. However, we shouldn't run from them either. I liken this to what I have seen in many churches today. Let me explain. Let me go back a few years here. I was once asked to speak at a youth group. Now keep in mind, I used to be a youth pastor myself. I enjoy speaking to youth actually. Yet, what I have seen in many churches over recent years has concerned me beyond reason. This church was a prime example. I was invited to speak to the graduating seniors in a Sunday school group, a group of about 20 high school seniors. I actually started the meeting off with a little quiz, a quiz of what I considered simple questions. I asked them to write down John 3:16. I asked them to list as many of the fruit of the Spirit as they could. I asked them to list as many of the gifts of the Spirit they could. I asked them to list as many of the 10 Commandments as they could, along with a few other questions. Here's the thing. Not one of these youth who was getting ready to go off to college passed the quiz. Not a single one. In fact, not one scored over 40%. What kind of chance did these youth have in staying in the faith as they go off to colleges and universities? Places that preach anything that goes against the Scriptures. This was not the fault of these youth. I personally blame the youth pastor and, even more so, the parents. My point is this. I don't want my children to be numbered with those kind of youth. Those who should have known way more than they did. As a father, that is my responsibility. I don't take that lightly. But how is this achieved? How do we train our families in this way? I suppose it depends on how old your children are. I know in our case, I do my best to let my family read certain verses, and then we dwell on them together. We discuss how we see it coming to pass. But we do that with all of our Bible studies with our children. I do my best to paint the story we are discussing for my children to imagine it in their little world, to imagine what it would be like to be in Moses' shoes, to imagine what it would be like to be in Joshua's shoes, to imagine what it would be like to be in the disciples' shoes, and all those who we discuss. If we don't address the hard topics openly with our children, who will? Don't run from this. Make it a point to pray for wisdom in how you should address the hard topics for your family. Don't let them down. It doesn't mean you have to have the answers. It lets them know you're pursuing them. And again, it doesn't mean we should make the hard topics a daily thing. Just make it a point to not avoid them. We hope you've enjoyed this teaching. Now, it's up to you to be a Berean and study it for yourself. That's the only way to grow. Until next time, Shalom.